Hi, it's Caitlin. I wanted to put together this short video to talk about two language building strategies that you can use at home. They're called expansion and extension. These are just general language building strategies. They involve modeling language. So this is something that speech therapists use and parents can use at home too. I just wanted to say that these apply to any child that you're wanting to model language for, so this isn't specific to children who have autism. These are helpful strategies for any child that is working on building vocabulary and expanding their use of language. So the first one is expansion. Expansion means that you are going to expand on what your child said just by making it a grammatically correct sentence, but you're not adding anything else to what they said except for putting it into a complete sentence. So if your child is at a one-word level and they say juice, that's wonderful. You are just providing a language model by expanding on that and saying, let's get some juice. So you just took the word they said, put it in a complete sentence. That's expansion. Let's say your child is at a two-word level and they say, Mama up. You might just expand on that and say, Mama will pick you up. So you're just taking what they said, putting it into a grammatically correct sentence, and that is providing a language model. If your child's not yet using words, then you instead might just provide a narration of what's going on. So if your child reaches for you to pick them up and uses that gesture, then as you pick them up, you might just say, pick up or mama up. And you might just model a short number of words, maybe one or two words, and it might not be a grammatically correct sentence. So I hope that part makes sense, that if your child's not using any words, you might use a smaller number of words, and if your child is using one or two or three word combinations, then you would want to just put it into a short but grammatically correct sentence. The other strategy I mentioned is extension. This is the same as expansion with the added part that you're going to add one new detail of information. So this just really helps provide your child a model for new vocabulary words too. So similar to expansion, if your child says one word, let's pretend that you're building with blocks and your child says more. Okay, so you might expand first and say, let's get more blocks. The extension piece would be adding, here are some blue blocks. So you've now introduced one new detail of information. In that example, you added a color of the block. So again, extension means you added just one new element. We could do another example where, let's go back to the example for picking up your child. So if your child says, Mama up, you expanded and you said, Mama will pick you up. Let's go to the kitchen. That would be an extension because you added one new piece of information that you're going to the kitchen. So again, this is just to provide language modeling. You're not expecting that your child's going to repeat what you're saying. This isn't really that you're demanding that they say what you said. This is just a modeling strategy and not really a demand. If your child is prone to repeat what they hear you say, then that might happen. And in that case, I would just urge you to be thinking about, if they're going to repeat it back, what's going to sound appropriate. So in some cases, you might want to just say things in a certain way that will sound correct when your child still says it. If your child is prone to repeat exactly what they just heard, you might want to use the pronoun I so that when they say it out loud, it technically would be right. So if your child is, we'll go back to the blocks, and they say more, and you say, I want more blocks, if your child is prone to repeating that, then they're going to say, I want more blocks, And at least then that is the correct way to say it. So you modeled, I want more blocks, and they said, I want more blocks. But again, that was just an example if your child's prone to repeating what they just heard. In most cases, these strategies of expansion and extension are not meant to be with a demand or expectation that your child will repeat it. It's just for modeling language and exposing them to some different vocabulary words. So, really quick, expansion, you take what your child said and you put it into a short but grammatically correct sentence. And extension, you use the same technique as expansion, put what your child said into a short, grammatically correct sentence, and add one new piece of information. So please let me or Tiffany know if you have any questions about these language building strategies. Thank you. Bye.